Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thanks so much for joining me. I am going to be using the Pinkfresh Studio Out and About collection. And before I started here, because I'm really slow, I hand cut these letters that will spell fly. And I used two different pattern papers, the striped pattern paper, and then there's a red one behind that I backed it with. So I'm going to, that's going to be my big title going down the left side of the page. And I love this collection so much, but it's been struggling with it because I don't have a lot of travel photos right now. And I will have some, it's just I haven't had some recently. But my son and his friend, Skylar, they went to this indoor skydiving place and did indoor skydiving. And so I thought, perfect, this totally goes with that. So I'm titling this Let's Fly. And the letters, I believe, are all, if they're not from this collection, they're from another Pinkfresh collection. I'm doing two photos on this page. One, I believe, is like a 3x3, and the other one is a strange size, maybe 2x4, 2.5x4. So I'll show you how I put a square photo and a vertical photo together to create this layout. So essentially I'm going to mat them individually. I matted them with a white paper, then this gray paper. Those are going to be individual mats. And then I'm going to lay them onto this teal colored paper, but I'm going to cut it out as if it's one photo. So I'm moving it as one unit after that. And a lot of times this is how I like to do multi-photo when they are in different orientations. It just makes it a little bit easier and kind of dictates where you can put it, where you need to add embellishment, and so on. So once I get this cut, I'm going to place that photo right in between where the F and the L have that little bracket space there. That is where I'm going to kind of inlay the photo. And I absolutely love how it turned out. It just fits in there perfectly, and I just love it. Love how this worked. And that kind of inspired me to orient the photos the way I did, because after playing around with the photos before I matted them, I realized that it would nestle perfectly in that spot. And I pretty much use all embellishments from this collection, but I do pull in, I think, 3 embellishments from my stash, and I will let you know what those are. Actually, the background paper is from my stash, and I have to apologize because the branding strip was not on this one when I pulled it out of my paper rack. So I'm not sure, but the colors went perfectly, and I absolutely loved this kind of ledger paper style for the background. So you see there, that's where I'm going to place my photos, and then I'm going to just kind of start embellishing. So I'm going to add a little part of the title that's going to go below the square photo. And I think that was an embellishment piece from the collection. I then am going to kind of run the rest of my embellishments along the right side of that vertical photo, moving up to the right-hand corner. This is from the 6x6 paper, and it was just one of the cut apart sheets, and I did those a lot of times with those 6x6 small cut apart sheets. What I do when I get a collection, and I didn't do it with this one yet, but I will cut those all up and then just add them right to my embellishment pack, because then I won't forget about them. And I encourage you to do that, that when you get a kit or collection, go through all the cut aparts and decide which ones you like, and go ahead and cut them up right before you even use the collection, because oftentimes if you're not looking at them with your embellishments, like you've already picked out your paper, you will miss some of those cutter parts, and they are perfect embellishments for your pages, especially the smaller ones from the 6x6 sheets. So I'm going to be playing around here with just some different tags and whatnot from the collection, and layering up some of these items along the right hand side of the photo. Now, before I stick it down, I did look into my stash. So just to share my process with you, if I'm working from a collection or a kit, I will decide what I'm going to use from that collection typically. Pull out the ephemera, pull out puffy stickers or whatever, and then I will go into my stash, and I have a sticker book that is done by color, and then I have one small bin of that's just random stickers, any types of things from random collections that either I picked up at Tuesday Morning, or I might have picked them up at Hobby Lobby or Michael's, or any just craft store that I didn't buy with a collection. And then I'll go in and I'll pull those items out and put them out there with the rest of my stuff from the actual collection. And from there, I can build the layout, because I love, one of the things I absolutely love is mixing collections. I don't know why, but I always love a layout where I'm pulling things from different collections. I just think it's interesting, it's unexpected. And there's where you see I have a 4x4 transparency, and that is from the Atlas collection. And I think that might have been crepe paper. No, it's pink paisley, I think. The Atlas collection, which was also a travel collection. And this was a transparency, and it just has those silver airplanes with the dotted lines. And I love that because it gives me basically what I was looking for. So what I've got here is like a T structure on its side. So you would have the top of the T would be the Let's Fly, and then coming out the middle, we have the other section, which is the horizontal section. And that really extends that horizontal section and uses up a bit more of that paper without making it too heavy. So if you have transparencies in your stash, I would encourage you to work with them in this way. Use them as a layering piece, and don't be afraid to cover part of it up. And it just adds more interest. It adds more interest without weighting down your layout, because there's no color involved, or very little color. So I would just really encourage you to get out those transparencies and have them close by when you're working on a layout. And I have mine all in a little 4x6 iris case. And so I will often, when I'm going through and pulling embellishments for a page, I will flip through that iris case to see if there's anything in there. Now, crazy enough, for as much stuff as I have in my stash, I seem to know almost everything I have. So when I'm working on a layout, I don't know how I can remember it, but like when I was working on this one, I'm like, oh wait, I have those transparencies from the Atlas collection. That would be perfect. I don't know how I remember that. I mean, I can't even remember what I did, 2 hours ago. But yet I can remember what paper I have in my paper stash, or what embellishments I have. So I'm simply layering up embellishments here. That camera, that is a puffy camera, that just comes from Michael's. It's a Recollections brand puffy sticker. They have them usually all the time. I've seen them there year round, and I keep buying them because they have several different colors of cameras. It's a fun, really squishy, puffy feel, and I love them. Of course, I love cameras because I document a lot of photos of my 3 boys who are now 18, almost 21 and 22. And cameras and stars and hearts are just my go-to for random embellishments for their pages. But cameras, if I see something with a camera on it, I definitely want it. So I'm just playing around here still, trying to think about the colors I'm using and pulling over all of those colors from the pattern paper on the left in the title, pulling those over to the right side of the page. As you can see underneath the square photo, I put that die cut that says, "Let's do this." And that really allowed me to fill in that space so there wasn't that awkward gap in there. Ideally, I maybe would have liked to have layered another embellishment under the puffy arrow that I put there, but I just couldn't find something at the time. Everything I was looking at was just too bulky, so I didn't worry about it. Sometimes I get to a point where I'm like, I just have to accept that it's done. And that's probably what I did at that point. I probably was looking through and just didn't really know what else to do. I wanted to keep this pretty, no splatters, because it's a very linear layout, and I really wanted to keep it very geometric and linear. And had I added a bunch of enamel dots and a bunch of splatters, it would have changed the feel of the layout for me. So I really like the fact that I allowed myself to stop and not add all of those extras, which I usually do, and I really think that it worked out really well for this one. So yeah, this is pretty much the end of the layout. And you'll notice on the left that red strip, that's part of the pattern paper. That's part of the background paper. So it just worked out perfectly using this one for the layout. Here's some close-ups. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber, and I'd love for you to hit that bell button so that you get notifications for when my next videos come up. Have a great day, guys. Bye.